In the summer of 1984, the Midwest wasn't just hot, it was paralyzed. For 53 days, two names dominated the headlines: Alton Coleman and Debra Brown. Their paths through 6 states was a blur of random, senseless violence. But today, we're centering our focus on the victims here in Indiana. We're going to look past the Bonnie and Clyde labels the media often uses and focus on the humanity of the lives they interrupted. Before we get to Gary and Indianapolis, we have to understand the pair. Alton Coleman was a 28-year-old predator from Illinois with a long history of violence. He was the architect. Beside him was 21-year-old Debra Brown. While her defense would later claim she was a slave to Coleman's will, the evidence of her participation in their crimes would tell a much more complicated and chilling story. By June, Coleman and Brown were already on the run for a kidnapping in Wisconsin. They settled into an apartment in Gary. On June 18th, they encountered two children playing outside: 7-year-old Tamika Turks and her 10-year-old aunt, who we will refer to as AH. Using a tactic they would repeat often, they lured the girls into a wooded area. What happened in those woods was an act of pure evil. Both girls were subjected to brutal assaults. When 7-year-old Tamika began to cry, the violence escalated. She was beaten and stomped to death. The pair then turned on AH, strangling her with a belt. They left her for dead, but AH was a fighter. She woke up alone in the dark, managed to crawl out of the brush, and found help. Her survival ensured that their faces would finally be tied to these horrors. And not too long after the attack on the two children, Gary suffered another loss. Donna Williams was 25 years old, a beautician, and a devoted member of her church. She was the kind of person who helped others, which is exactly what Coleman and Brown exploited. Donna was last seen leaving her church to pick up the pair to take them to a service, and she never arrived. Her car was found days later in Detroit, but it would be a month before Donna was found in an abandoned house. She had been strangled. Her family was left to piece together how a woman so full of light could be taken by such darkness. By mid-July, Coleman and Brown were the most hunted couple in America. Alton Coleman had officially been placed in the 11th spot on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. They had abandoned a trail of stolen cars and were now moving by bicycle, trying to slip through the Midwest unnoticed. But as they entered Indianapolis, the desperation for a faster escape turned deadly once again. On July 18th, they crossed paths with 75-year-old Eugene Scott. Eugene was a resident of Indianapolis who was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Coleman and Brown kidnapped Eugene, stealing his car to continue their flight. His body would later be discovered in a ditch. Eugene Scott was the final life taken in a spree that had claimed 8 people in just under 2 months. His death stands as a tragic final punctuation mark to their violence before the law finally caught up to them. When we talk about these cases, it's easy to get lost in the why of the offenders, but the who of the victims matters more. Tamika's potential, Donna's kindness, and Eugene's years of hard work. These are the stories that remain. AH, the survivor from Gary, became the voice for those who couldn't speak.